then Taiwan is like the best place in the world to come and to actually live. I did not choose to come to Taiwan because I wanted to leave Taiwan. So
to leave and go.
To leave and go, never come back. At that time, in like foreigner years, you kind of have to count as like dog years. I was like the old grandpa when I only hang out with like other foreigners. So I would have that memory for myself. That way, I would never actually need to come back to Taiwan ever again. It would be like a finished chapter in my book.
Hi, 大家好，欢迎来 Welcome to Taiwan. Today we are in Taipei we have a very special guest for you guys. And before we go, please don't forget to click that subscription button, like the video, help us share if you can.
So my name is Lucas. I am originally from Sweden. And now I've lived here in Taiwan for 14 years, and I am a full-time YouTuber interviewing foreigners here in Taiwan or just making all different kinds of interesting videos about life in Taiwan.
Let's go back memory lane. Why do you choose to come to Taiwan?
I did not choose to come to Taiwan. I was an exchange student, and my university in Sweden said, if you want to be an exchange student, you go to Taiwan. They gave me a choice between Taiwan and Denmark, but living in Sweden, you don't want to go to Denmark, so I didn't have a choice. And I came here for one semester at the Dongwu Daxue, Suzhou University.
So why do you desire to stay this long?
The unofficial answer is that I met a girl, my ex-girlfriend, who was Taiwanese and who was going to study in Sweden. And we already knew that when I came to Taiwan. So the school had like a buddy system. So because she was going to study in Sweden, she was like my buddy or like my contact person here in Taiwan to basically show me around Taiwan. And because she also knew that she was going to go to Sweden, we kind of like, hooked up, and we were together in Taiwan and then in Sweden. And then I came back here when her exchange semester in Sweden was over and she came back here.
Officially?
Officially, I love Taiwan.
During your first periods in Taiwan, to the point where you found your feet, can you take us through?
I have two first times in Taiwan. So the first time, the first time when I was an exchange student, you're kind of like in this like bubble. So you get put together with all the other exchange students, and you're really like in this like little closed bubble where all the teachers and everyone is like treating you very differently, and they don't really see you as like one person. They see you as like, oh, there is the group of exchange students, and whatever they do with one, they do with like all six of us in our case. So like they would treat us for lunch, they would treat us for dinner, but they would do it as in like, let's bring in the group of exchange students and do something. So I felt more like I was on a Taiwan tour, or I got a visit of Taiwan, and I got to experience, everything was amazing, but looking back now, after living here for so long, it wasn't really Taiwan. It was just like the best bits and pieces and everything being taken care for you. For example, like they would treat us like bafang unji, like dumplings, but we would never order ourselves because we were like the exchange students who just came to Taiwan. We don't know anything, and it also wasn't like they wanted to really teach us how to order because they wanted to take care of us. So according to them, the best service was to like help us order. And then like the first time we tried to order it ourselves, like 6 months later, we're like, how does this work? We never ordered like bafang unji, and we're like, how do we get those like gotias, which we had no idea what it was? How do we get that version of the dumpling? We only have we ordered dumplings and we got like the shui jiao, and we're like, how do we get that one? Like, no, this is wrong. I had a great time, but then the second time when I came back like on my own, I had signed up for the school. There was no like buddy program that took care of me, and I had to like figure it all out on my own. That was completely different. And you were still a group of foreign friends that were like hanging out and exploring Taiwan, but without kind of like that safety net, which at that time and still like just felt like it was so much more freedom. So I love both first 6 months equally much, but it was like two completely different experiences for me. I was with my ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, okay.
So the plan was just for me to like come back here while she spent her last year graduating, I was just going to take 1 year Chinese class at Shida, and then the world was our oyster, and we could decide if we were going to be in Taiwan, in Sweden, or anywhere else. So I just followed her back for 1 year Chinese studies at Shida.
Then what kept you here?
I ask myself that question every time. So basically, I've always added just like 1 more year, like 14 years in a row, basically, or 12 years in a row. And then I met my now wife. So for the last 4 years, it's like the first time I've actually had like a plan of staying in Taiwan for more than 1 year. So for my first like 2.5 years, I was a student in Taiwan, but I got like paid tuition and paid like a monthly stipend of like Yuan Kwai, like 10,000 Taiwanese dollars per month to be a student here in Taiwan. So I was just like finding just like the easiest way of living life, and I having like 2 hours of class in the morning, and then I have the entire day free to do whatever I want, which most of the time was nothing at all.
Sweden is considered as one of the safest, cleanest, and living standard there is very high compared to many other countries. What are 1 or 2 things that Swedish do differently to Taiwanese?
I think that in Sweden, it's a lot of focus on like the family and the house. So we spend most of our lives just inside in our own homes, and also like taking care of the family and the house. With the house, with the garden, you have a garage, you have a car, and that's where we kind of like to spend our time, and because of that also like our money. So any extra money we have, we would like invest into the house. Whereas in Taiwan, especially like my first like 5-6 years here, then my life happened outside of my home. So I would go out and you would explore, and everything is just like so spontaneous. So like you have no idea what's going to happen, and even like where you're going to spend your night. Whereas in Sweden, we always plan ahead as well. So if you're going to meet like a friend or a family, like you would book it into a calendar. So you would be like, hey, do you want to hang out this week? Like, oh, this week is tough because all my friends are already like in my calendar. But let's meet next week Tuesday at like 2 p.m. Whereas in Taiwan, you like after work or after class, you'll be like, hey, do you want to go to a night market? And we would like, as we walk home from work or from class, we would just like randomly go into the night market. Maybe we meet some other friends and then, hey, what are you doing? Let's go to like another night market. Let's go and walk along the riverside. And then before you know it, it's like 2 a.m. You're like, what happened here? Why are we like outside of a family mart drinking bubble milk tea now? You know, like you have no idea what's going to happen. And as a Swede, it takes quite a lot of time to get used to that, because even now, like if I'm going to do something and I don't know when that activity ends, it makes me like a little bit uncomfortable. Yeah. So like I would like to know, like, okay, we're going to go to a night market, but we're going to be back at 8. At 8, yeah. Okay, yes, thank you so much. Whereas, you know, especially now, like I have a Taiwanese wife. It could be like, okay, we're going to go back to her family. And it would be like, okay, we're going to go back to the family on a Saturday, and we're going to come back home with the last bus, which is like 10 p.m. But we never get that last bus. And it'll be like, oh shit, we missed it. Let's take the first bus Sunday morning, or like we just stay there an extra day. And this still drives me crazy to this day, but I've learned to like live with it. But I feel like the lack of planning is an amazing in terms of like this spontaneous lifestyle. But sometimes when you have like grown up with this like literally down to the minute planning, it could also drive you very, very crazy. Yeah.
What advice would you give to anyone who wishes to go to Sweden?
So in order to give you like the best experience for like just like a few days or like for 1 week, Stockholm is where you want to be. For me, I grew up like on the Swedish countryside. And if you want to explore my version of Sweden, Sweden is like huge. I think Sweden is like, it's like 3 or 4 times of Taiwan. So like the distances are just like much bigger. You're going to spend a lot more time trying to explore something. It's not like in Taiwan where you can just like take up Google Maps and, oh, this is a cool temple. Let's jump on the MRT. 10 minutes we're there. Go up on like TripAdvisor, or if you just Google like what to do in Taipei, you will see like Chiang Kai-shek, you will see Sun Yat-sen, you will see Taipei 101, and Elephant Mountain. You can do all those 4 things in one afternoon.
Yeah.
If you go and you Google like what to do in Sweden, you will see like the Northern Lights, which is like basically only a winter thing. Like you have to be like up in the north of Sweden. And then you will see like a beautiful like canal in Stockholm. And then you will see maybe, if you do some really intense Googling, some like old castles in like Örebro or like south of Sweden. But it's like an 8-hour trip from like the ice hotel up in north to like the old city of Stockholm. And I think a lot of people, especially like the Taiwanese way of traveling, where you also kind of want to like plan everything based on like the food, or you have all these activities already planned up, you will be a little bit disappointed just because of the distance, and you wouldn't have time to do everything.
And what advice would you give to anyone who wishes to come to Taiwan?
I would say if you're only going to come to visit as a tourist and you have like a very short time period, staying in Taipei is more than enough. Like if it's like less than like a week, you can definitely have enough time to only spend in Taipei, because I think most tourists who are visiting Taipei, at least like before like COVID, they would have like a 2 or 3 day layover in Taiwan. So they will go somewhere else to like from the US to Japan or something. And then the flight will go through Taiwan and they will try to extend the Taiwan trip. So they will only have like 2 or 3 days in Taiwan. I personally would just stay in Taipei for those shorter trips and maybe not trying to do like a Huandao traveling around, because it will be like so much more hectic and you wouldn't really have time to really understand the amazing part of Taiwan. But if you do actually just take the time, then you definitely would want to come back. And the second time, you should try to stay for like, 1 to 3 months and come here, like, especially if you're a digital nomad or if you can work remotely, then Taiwan is like the best place in the world to come and to actually live, not just like visiting, but to actually live for like 1, 3, 6, 12 months. And that's when you should have time to like slower actually experience and discover the rest of Taiwan.
Being a YouTuber, how does this come about?
This come about because I wanted to leave Taiwan. So
to leave and go.
To leave and go, never come back. And because I was bored, because I think this was like after like 6-7 years of living in Taiwan, I felt like I had already discovered everything. And that is true to a point, because I had discovered everything that is easily accessible with public transportation. And I wanted to leave Taiwan. But before that, I figured that I should probably get some sort of like proper camera to document my favorite places in Taiwan. So I would have that memory for myself. That way, I would never actually need to come back to Taiwan ever again. It would be like a finished chapter in my book. So I just got a GoPro and I started to record my favorite places, which was Kenting down in south and Teapot Mountain in Jofen. We're talking like 2015, 2016. At that time, in like foreigner years, you kind of have to count as like dog years. That's like, it's 40, 50 years in like foreigner years, because most foreigners, they will come here for like just a few months or maximum like 1 year, and then they will leave. So it's very, very rare, especially back then, to meet a foreigner who had been in Taiwan for more than like 2-3 years. So I was like the old grandpa when I only hang out with like other foreigners and other exchange students, because exchange students changes like literally exchanging every like 6 months. So I only met people who counted their Taiwan life in weeks. And they're like, how long have you been in Taiwan? I've been here like 5 weeks. Oh, I've been here like 15 weeks. And I'm like, I've been here 6 years. So because of that, a lot of people start asking me and be like, oh, what do you recommend? Like, what is your favorite food? How do you order this and that? What's your favorite hike in Taiwan? So when I did these videos, I made them as like instructional videos for exchange students, because I was like just tired of having to answer all the same questions. So I just made videos, and then if I will meet another foreigner like in a bar or something, then I would just like just watch this video. Here, here's my YouTube channel. Just like watch this video. Let's talk about something else. And then literally like, and this was like before you had like the YouTuber wasn't a thing, and I didn't have like an admin on YouTube, so I couldn't see like the views or anything. So I had like a guy in a bar. I met him and I was like, hey, what's your favorite hike? Okay, check this link. I'll send you the link, just check it out. He checked it out while he was still in the bar. And then he was like, wow, the views are amazing. And I'm like, yeah, it's a pretty good hike. It's like Teapot Mountain. It's like, no, I mean the views of the video. You have like 30,000 views. And I'm like, what? like let me see that. So then I had to go back like and check, and it was like 30,000 views. And it was only like Chinese comments. And then I'm like, I don't know 30,000 people in Taiwan, and I haven't talked to anyone who would like reply in Chinese. Like, who are these people?
Who are these people?
And that's when I found out that a lot of like Taiwanese people are watching my videos, and they found it fascinating to explore these places that either they hadn't even been to themselves, although they have lived in Taiwan for like 50 years, or seeing these things from a foreigner's perspective that was like completely new to them, and things that Taiwanese people take for granted that is completely normal to them. But for me, it's like unheard of. I've never seen this anywhere else in the world. Or actually in the beginning, when I did a lot of like hiking as well, so many people were commenting, asking me to go to specific mountains because they were too old to go themselves. So then they were like, oh, you know, like 20 years ago, I went to like this mountain. I would love if someone could go back there and record a video so I can see how it is now.
Wow.
So that's what I did. That was like my first like 1 year of making YouTube, Yeah, I plan to go back home. I even booked a plane ticket. So I booked a plane ticket. 6 months later, I was going to go. But at that time, I started making videos like just overnight. I started making videos like every single week. So at that time when my plane ticket was coming up, I was like, I already had like maybe 5,000 or 6,000 subscribers. And I already made plans to like, I want to go to like new places, because as people then started to recommend me to go and check out other places, that's when I discovered that actually there is more to Taiwan than just the MRT line and the Gautier. And then I started to like go out on scooter adventures, and I got my scooter license, and that just opens up a completely new world here in Taiwan. Yeah, I'm still not done exploring.
Other than YouTubing, what else do you do?
Good question. Pretty much like only YouTube right now. There are some things here in the background that hopefully is going to turn into a company. Still in the very, very early stages of this, but I'm just doing my YouTube videos for now. Hopefully that's going to continue. But very, very soon, if you subscribe to my YouTube channel, you will see what's happening behind here, which is definitely the biggest project I have ever done here in Taiwan during my 14 years, which I am extremely excited about.
Okay, all his links will be in the description below. I'm sure all of you have known him. If you haven't, just go there and check it out, and you'll see what he has in plan for you for the future. Do you have anything else to tell Taiwanese people?
I have one thing that I think is very important, and that is to subscribe to this YouTube channel so you get to know more about Taiwan from a foreigner's perspective, because this is basically how the rest of the world gets to know Taiwan. I mean, I'm very, very biased here, but I feel like us foreigners and these YouTube videos, as much as you think it might be entertaining and just fun to watch from a Taiwanese perspective, I definitely know that they're very informative for other foreigners as well. And these like English-speaking videos are the first thing that's going to pop up if any foreigner, any tourist, or any like new foreigner who wants to come and live and work in Taiwan gets to see. So by subscribing to this channel, you just increase the awareness to other people from all over the world. So please do make sure to subscribe, and also like this video so it gets sent to anyone else who might be interested in Taiwan.
Thank you very much for giving us this opportunity to share your life experience here in Taiwan.
Thank you.
Hope you continue to enjoy your stay here in Taiwan.
I hope so too. You should also mention that if you want to know more about this handsome guy, you should come and check out my channel where we have done an interview with Lamin himself. So we finally understand a little bit more who this mystery man behind the camera is.
Okay, as you know, Lucas in Taiwan.
L-U-K-A-S.
Yes, go check it out. 感谢你收看，有喜欢不喜欢 please leave a comment and tell us what part of the video you hope we could improve. And see you in my next video.